Most people believe that the only way to get better at English is to memorize more words and study grammar every single day. But here's the truth, that's not why you're still struggling. You don't forget English because you're lazy. You forget it because you're learning it the wrong way. You see, you spend hours studying, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. You know the words, but they just won't come out. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Millions of learners face this same problem every day. That's why today, I'm going to show you a completely different way to learn, a smarter way. A method that helps you remember English naturally, effortlessly, and forever. Yes, forever. You'll finally stop forgetting words. You'll finally sound more confident. You'll finally feel like English is yours. I'm Peter, and this is English Unlocked, the channel that helps you break free from boring English and unlock your real speaking power. So if you're ready to stop memorizing and start mastering, make sure to hit that follow button, because your English journey starts right here, right now. You know what's funny? Most people think they forget English words because they have a bad memory. But that's not true, not at all. You forget because your brain never really connected with those words. Think about it. If you meet someone just once, you probably forget their name, right? But if you talk to them every day, share stories, laugh together, you'll never forget. Words work the same way. If you only memorize them, they're strangers to your brain. But if you use them, feel them, live with them, they become your friends. I've seen so many students say, "Peter, I study every day, but when I speak, my mind goes blank." And I always tell them, it's not your fault. You just learn to remember, not to connect. So here's the truth. Your brain doesn't like boring things. It remembers what excites you, what surprises you, what you experience. That's why you remember song lyrics from years ago but forget the words you studied last night. The key is emotion. The key is connection. The key is using English as part of your world, not as a subject in a book. So from now on, don't just learn words, live them. Speak them. Feel them. Because when English becomes part of your story, you'll never forget it again. Let me tell you a secret. Your brain doesn't remember words from your notebook. It remembers words from your life. You see, when you study a new word and just write it down, it's like planting a seed but never watering it. It stays there, but it never grows. So what should you do instead? You create your own example sentences, real, personal, emotional sentences. If you learn the word excited, don't just write, "I am excited." Say, "I am excited because I'm learning English with Peter today." Now that word has meaning. It's connected to your feeling, your story, your life. When you make words part of your own experience, your brain says, "Hey, this is important. Let's keep it." That's how memory works. It remembers emotion, not repetition. So from today, every time you learn a new word, make it personal. Write it. Say it. Use it in a way that matters to you. Because words are not just vocabulary, they are pieces of your voice. And when you give them life through your own sentences, they will never leave you. Never. Have you ever noticed how some words feel like a family? They look different, but deep down, they are connected. Take the word predict. From it, we get prediction, predictable, and even unpredictable. See? One root, many faces. And when you learn words like this, in families, you don't just remember one word. You remember the whole group. Your brain loves patterns. It doesn't like learning random things. When you group words together, your brain says, "Oh, I see the connection." That connection becomes memory. So, instead of writing long lists of single words, build your word family notebook. Write the base word, then add the brothers, sisters, and cousins of that word. Add an example, a picture, maybe even a short story using all of them. For example, predict. I can predict the weather. Prediction. My prediction was correct. Predictable. The movie was too predictable. Now those words are not strangers anymore. They are a family you know, a family you'll never forget. Because English isn't just about memorizing. It's about seeing the connections. And once you see them, everything becomes easier, faster, and more fun. Let me ask you something. What's the best way to remember a word forever? It's not flashcards. It's not repeating it 10 times. It's using it inside a story. Stories are magic. They connect emotion, imagination, and memory all at once. When you write a short story using your new words, your brain builds a world around them. And that world makes the words unforgettable. Imagine you just learned the word brave. You could write, "Yesterday, I felt brave when I spoke English to a foreigner for the first time." See? It's real, personal, and emotional. That's what makes it stick. So every week, I want you to write one small story. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. Use 10 or 15 new words. Make them come alive in your story. And when you do this again and again, something amazing happens. English stops being just a language. It becomes your voice, your memory, your power. So don't just study words. Tell stories with them. Because stories are how the human brain remembers best, and how you will never forget. There is one secret every great learner knows. The best way to learn something is to teach it. Just teach it. Even if your student is just your mirror, your pet, or your little brother. When you explain a new word or grammar rule, something powerful happens. Your brain shifts from remembering to understanding. You start asking yourself, "Wait, how does this really work?" And that moment, that spark, is where real learning begins. I remember one student who told me, "Peter, I don't feel ready to teach anyone." And I said, "You don't teach because you're perfect. You teach because you want to grow." And she did. She explained English to her friends in her own simple way. A few weeks later, her speaking confidence exploded. So here's my challenge to you. After learning something new, teach it to someone. It could be one sentence, one word, one idea. Say it out loud, record it, or post it online. When you teach, you don't just share knowledge, you own it. Because when you teach English, English becomes a part of you. And that's when you'll never forget it again. Close your eyes for a moment. When I say the word apple, what do you see? You don't see the letters APPLE, right? You see a red, shiny fruit. Maybe you even imagine the taste. That's how your brain works. It doesn't think in words, it thinks in pictures. So if you want to remember English words faster and longer, you must see them, not just read them. This is where mind maps come in. Take one word, like travel. Write it in the center of a page and draw lines to words like plane, hotel, adventure, passport. Suddenly, your mind starts connecting ideas, colors, and emotions. That's memory in action. When you add pictures, drawings, or even small doodles, you make learning fun and powerful. You turn a boring list into a story your brain loves to remember. Because your brain doesn't remember what's complicated. It remembers what's visual, what's alive. So the next time you study, don't just write words, draw them. Create your own world of English on paper. Because when you see it, you feel it. And when you feel it, you'll never forget it. Have you ever read an article and thought, wow, I wish I could write like that? Here's the secret, you can. You just need to start playing with English. Take something simple, like a short paragraph from a story or a post you like. Now, replace some of the easy words with new ones you've learned. Change happy to delighted. Change big to enormous. Suddenly, your sentence feels stronger, more colorful, more alive. This is called word substitution, and it's one of the smartest ways to practice. Because you're not just memorizing new words, you're teaching your brain how to use them in real context. You see how they fit, how they sound, how they feel. It's like upgrading your English step by step. Every new word you replace adds a layer of confidence, a layer of power. So tonight, try it. Take a short text, a news story, a movie quote, even your own journal, and rewrite it with better words. Make it yours. Make it shine. Because when you start changing words, you start changing your voice. And that's when English becomes not just something you study, but something you own. Have you ever taken a photo and thought, this moment says everything? Now imagine doing the same, but in English. Take your phone, capture something from your day, your coffee, your desk, the sky, and then describe it in English using your new words. I'm enjoying a peaceful morning with a cup of strong coffee. That's what I call a vocabulary selfie. It's not just a picture, it's a memory tied to emotion, to language, to you. When you connect words to your real life, they stop being vocabulary. They become part of your story. And stories are unforgettable. Then go one step further. Start building word combinations, or what I call word friendships. Words that always go together, like make a decision, strong coffee, heavy rain. Learning these together makes your English sound natural, real, alive. So don't just study words in isolation. Live them. See them. Speak them. Because every photo, every phrase, every connection you make brings English closer. Not to your head, but to your heart. And that's where true learning begins. Do you know what separates people who study English from people who live English? It's not talent. It's consistency, small actions, done every single day. You don't need to learn 20 new words a day. Just choose 2 or 3. Use them in your thoughts, your messages, your voice. Say them out loud when you walk, when you cook, when you look in the mirror. Make them yours. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is connection. Because when you use English daily, your brain starts to believe, this is part of my life now. And that belief changes everything. Try this simple trick. Every morning, pick 2 new words. During the day, challenge yourself to say them 3 times in different sentences. At night, look back and think, did I use them? How did it feel? That reflection turns practice into power. And if you want to grow even faster, start paraphrasing, say the same idea in different ways. Instead of, I'm tired, say, I feel exhausted. Instead of, it's easy, say, it's simple. That's how your English becomes flexible, natural, alive. Remember, little steps, every day. Because great speakers aren't made in a day. They're made in daily moments of courage, curiosity, and practice. There's one thing many learners forget when studying English: the power of emotion. You see, English isn't just grammar and vocabulary. It's energy. It's expression. It's how you make people feel. When you speak, your words carry emotion, confidence, kindness, excitement. And people don't just hear you, they feel you. So, don't be afraid to use your voice. Don't speak like a robot. Speak like a human being. Add life to your words. Smile when you talk. Use your hands. Let your feelings come through your voice. Because language is not only in your mouth, it's in your heart. Think about a song in English that you love. You don't just understand the words, right? You feel them. That's the secret. Emotion helps memory. When you feel something, your brain remembers faster, stronger, longer. So next time you learn a sentence, don't just repeat it. Act it, feel it, own it. Make it yours. And when you speak with that emotion, that confidence, that spark, people will listen. Not because your English is perfect, but because it's alive.